That is right. All right, now, my words of wisdom. We shall then proceed. Okay. All right, and I hope everybody's hearing me online. Okay, great. Okay, let's see if we can pick up my volume. My volume is up. All right, I'll just try to cover across as strongly as I can. So I want to tell you of a case, right? This is Rosh Hashanah. It's also known in law as Yom Hadin, the day of judgment. We were judged, we were tested. So I'll tell you a story of a judgment. It was a very simple case. It was a clear case, open and shut, who's right and who's wrong. Very simple case. Chaim and Yankel come to the court. They're going to plead their case before the rabbi. Right? And important in those days in the Jewish community was the rabbi's study, his little tiny room with books all over the place. And in the next room, in the kitchen, that's where the rabbi's wife, the Rebbetzin, sits. And she is, of course, the one controlling the rabbi. We know, right? She's plucking chickens, listening, and watching to make sure the rabbi doesn't say something wrong. So Chaim opens up his case on the 5th day of this month. I brought from Yankel a tool, and he did this and this and this and this. And seriously looks down at his beard, ponders, and declares, it seems to me the facts indicate that Chaim is right. But Rabbi Yankel replies in defense, on the 5th day of this month, when I sold Chaim this tool, they did this, 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 and this. And the rabbi listens intently, ponders, and announces, it seems to me that Yankel is right. At which point the Rebbetzin sticks in her head into the study and protests, wait a minute, how can both of them be right? The rabbi listens, ponders intently, and announces, it seems to me the Rebbetzin is also right. Now, I've heard this joke many times, just heard it over the weekend. After I already wrote this one, I heard another rabbi, it's a different version. The old Jewish version, right? Everybody's right. So, very often, when we have a quarrel with someone or we have to decide between two people arguing, we tend to think of the situation as an open shut case. You're right. That's it. You're wrong. We forget to look at both sides of the issue. And then, like the rabbi of the story, we often pronounce judgment at the first crack without really looking at the other side. And it can also truly happen. It happens despite the Rebbetzins' protest. Sometimes both sides can be right. It can happen. In truth, we all know that judging people's actions or characters is not restricted to rabbis in the synagogue or even judges in the court. And we can say that here we've been going through a pandemic over the past several years. It's not just of a virus, COVID-19, but a verbal virus, a virus sent by text and tweet and email, TikTok, whatever it is. You name your platform, you've got it. So we get caught in a rush to judgment. It's very easy when we have to just push a button. So I have no need to belabor what has been written about so much that we live in an echo chamber, which even a small whisper bounces off the walls of one end of the earth to the other without any end. So I'm going to give you one example, which is actually a modest example. It's not that messy, not so bitter, but it's an appropriate example. At the Olympics this summer, Simone Weil, famous gymnast, backed out of the competition in the last minute. For a variety of reasons, they involved a very risky maneuver. She had concerns whether she was physically fit to do what she had hoped to do. So within seconds, though, the chatter boxes were on, and either she was some kind of great saint for declining, or she was a traitor to her team for declining. Either, or everybody had an opinion. Suddenly, everyone in the world became an expert on athletes, on the dangers of the games, on the traumas of women, the traumas of race, everything was thrown in the kitchen pot, except what Simone Weil going through. Now, one thing I'm happy to say, she did go ahead, though, and go back to the competition and perform very well. She got a medal. It was not the gold, but she was back in there. And I feel good for her because I'm sure that helped her feel better about what she went through. Fortunately, she escaped major damage. It was not just from the somersaults, but it's what I call this the firing squad of the Universal Yentas. My new term, firing squad of Universal Yentas. It's a variation on the circular firing squad. President Obama mentioned that. You know, we have a circular firing squad, we're shooting at each other. So you know the Yenta, you know Fiddler's Yenta, the matchmaker. Of course you know her, right? Now, she's a business professional. So she has to know everything, right? She has to know everybody in town. She has to have the inside scoop on everyone. And she has to render judgment on everyone. It's a business for her, right? So the Yenta is the one, passing on everything, smearing, passing judgment. Rechilis, right? Another rechilis. Slander, rumor mongering, jumping to judgments. The American equivalent has been the Karen. Came up this last 2 years of work. I'm sorry for people who named Karen somehow, because they're very nice people named Karen. This name just stuck, and to be fair, that's why I'll use Yenta. And also, there are very nice people whose names are Yenta also, but I'll use Yenta equally for men and for women. But it's not, no one with the onset of the internet, it's everybody. It's not women, it's men and women, all Yentas. So, but it's not a funny song in Fiddler. It's not that. There's become far more malevolent than that. People are fired. Books are banned. Professors are boycotted. Careers are ruined. This is happening. It's not to the yahoos and the rednecks that we like to look down on. No, it's happening to scores of well-educated liberals who line up in front of the firing squad of universal Yentas, who present themselves as even more Catholic than the Pope, by my mixed metaphors. But it's very, very similar. You'll see from this quote that I have, going back to the Olympics, and comments by Bill Maher on the way the Olympics were managed, the way the vision, the presentation of the Olympics was managed. So now, Maher is not your typical MAGA hatter. I was going to accuse him of that. He hates religion for one thing, right? So he's not one of these religious extremes. He slammed cancer culture at the Tokyo Olympics going after their woke attitude during the games. And he pointed to several ousters that have happened leading up to the games, which he called a purge, right? Some of you, anybody who came out of Stalinist Russia, you know what a purge is, you know it very well. So he gave several examples. This is called a purge. It's a mentality that belongs to Stalin's Russia. So how bad does this atmosphere we're living in have to get before people who say cancer culture is overblown admit that it is a fact and insanity swallowing up the world? He continued by saying his politics have not changed, but I'm reacting to the politics that happen, right? Classic liberal, we like to think of as sort of the ideal, is in position. It's the rest of the world is shifting. Weird. So here's another example that considers how the woke invert the very things that used to make liberals liberal. Snitches and the B word that rhymes with snitches, right? That's not being liberal. So he goes on, and there's other examples, but you get my key point. So, it's not good. It's not good. Long ago, we had our own Bill Maher, long time ago, in the book of Kohelet, Ecclesiastes. It was so good that we put it in the Bible. We said, we have to have people who are critics in our Bible. And so Kohelet in his day said, Masha Hayat Hushiyeh. You think it's new? It's not new. What was is going to happen. And he knew about Twitter before there was such a thing. Before there was electricity, he knew Twitter. And he said so. He said, for a bird of the air may carry the utterance, and a winged creature may report the word. Right? Long before Twitter. And 2,000 years ago, our sages knew that a rumor, let's say, whispered in Jerusalem, was very quickly heard in Rome. And that was at a time when the word was spread about 6 miles per hour on a ship. Still went very fast. Today, you don't even hit the send button, it's there already. You put your finger, your finger is sensitive. Your phone senses the finger before it even touches it. You ever notice that? The heat. So rumor spreads before you hit the send button. The universal Yentas never disappeared. They were always there. They just picked up speed. So we know very well people always engage in snap judgments and a rush to slander. The rabbis called it a triple, like a triple header. What do I mean by that? They said of slander kills 3 times. It kills the target of the slander. It comes back to kill the one who started the slander, and eventually kills the bystander who spread the slander. It's all around. So we don't have to be among the woke crowd to do this. We don't even need to be on social media device. We do this on our own in our heads. We rush to judgment very easily. We all fall for our own off-the-cuff decisions. We quickly prejudge others. The word prejudice, prejudging before you have the information. Right? It's too noisy, shifty, untrustworthy, or the opposite. We blindly trust people. We have no information, and that's also how we get into trouble. So to hire or fire a worker, to pass or fail a student, even to trust or mistrust the faithfulness of a spouse. No snap judgments here. Entire futures can be made or crushed based on our judgments. So what should we do? What should we do before we rush to send off our invectives or hit the unfriend or the thumbs down button? Before we become another nagging Yenta? Torah gives us 3 principles on which to base our judgments. Love your neighbor as yourself, shall not pervert your judgment by favoritism, shall not hate your brother in your heart or bear a grudge. So v'ahavta l'recha kamocha, you're very familiar with the phrase, as Rabbi Akiva said, Zekla gadol b'Torah, love your neighbor as yourself is a major principle of the Torah. And our traditional commentaries provide the deeper meaning. You ask the question, how is it possible to love anyone really as we love ourselves? Let's be honest. I love myself, how can I love the next person? That's different. And it's a command to emotions, and we can't command an emotion. But what we can command is actions. So when we talk about the neighbor kamocha, who is like you, means that it's not about how you feel, but you recognize that the neighbor and you share so much in common. He or she is just like you with all your qualities and all your faults. The language of that chapter in the Torah very clearly indicates without any doubt it applies not just to the physical neighbor, not just to the fellow Jew, but to the stranger as well. In the very same chapter, it's made explicit. So what does like you mean? If I have my struggles in life to deal with, then you do too. If I have my struggles in life to deal with them, or if you have struggles in life, then I do also. I must then act in a loving manner towards you, my neighbors. We're both dealing with the same problems. When we recognize that our neighbor is just as capable of good as we are, then it changes how we go through the day. Those around us. And I said the second principle, do not show favoritism in judgment. It's not restrictively courtroom, it's every day. That's where rabbis in the Pirkei Avot, the teachings of the fathers advised, judge everyone, the presumption of innocence. Our sages predated by 2,000 years. The great American principle that you are innocent unless proven guilty. Mahila went one step further. Don't judge your fellow till you have stood in his place or her place. It's the Jewish equivalent of the Native American saying, don't judge your fellow till you walk the mile in his moccasins. We all have our share of the rude clerk or the obstinate bureaucrat who frustrates by not listening and not attending to our needs. And again, we have to give the benefit of the doubt and put ourselves in the other person's shoes. Who knows what they may be going through, he or she may be going through. After all, other people have trouble also. Illness, disaster, financial difficulties, family troubles. Don't judge your fellow till you stood in his place or her place. They may be nasty, difficult, but who knows what they're going through. Third principle of judgment is the follow-up. Don't hate your brother in your heart. Revenge is sweet, like sugar, but like sugar, it causes tooth decay and heart disease. Many years back, I met a minister of a Methodist church in Uptown Whittier, this rabbi, going way back. Told me of an experience having lived a few months in Jordan not long after the Six-Day War. He spent some time visiting a Jordanian army unit and got to know one of the officers. Would there ever be a reconciliation with Israel? He asked the officer. And the officer replied, revenge that is 20 years old is but a suckling infant. Right? Not just beginning after 20 years. And that's what revenge is like. It lingers on, it kills the one who bears it. Just look at so much in the Middle East today. God pity the poor people of Lebanon or Syria, Afghanistan. To put a stop to our disastrous putting down of each other for the least faults, let's just keep in mind these words expressed on a piece of parchment 2,000 years ago, hidden in the caves of the Dead Sea in the writings of Ben Sira. Forgive your neighbor his wrongdoing, and then for your sin you will be forgiven when you pray. Shall one man cherish anger against another and yet ask healing from the Lord? Does he have no mercy on one like himself and yet pray for his own sins? So think of it before you send the next tweet, or you pick up the phone, or you whisper to your neighbor. I will finish with this little ditty by an anonymous author a century ago, much in the keeping with Bet Sira, 2 millennia earlier, that gets the message for this day. There's so much good in the worst of us, so much bad in the best of us, that it hardly becomes any of us to talk about the rest of us. The quote speaks for itself. No more universal Yentas, please. Slow down before you tweet and retweet. May we look and deal graciously with others, that heaven may look graciously upon us this year and every year. Amen. And we're going to go ahead with our service. Now with the staff. Cantor's going to lead some Lehina, and we're going to go in the Mahzor to page 78. 78. Yeah, yeah. The other. There we go. Thank you. Go ahead.
The prayer of Hineni is a private prayer for any Shaliach or Hazan. And I researched and talked to many rabbis about the Shaliach leading the service